What's up, everybody? It is the Best Spot Kid Smooth, and today I really want to do a video on Microsoft. Why not? I'm an Xbox fanboy. That's what I do. But no, really, in all seriousness, I really want to talk about Microsoft's next move. Now, we've all been, heard about the acquisitions. Microsoft added 5 new studios to their growing first party team. When they added Ninja Theory, they added 343. Ninja Theory, the Initiative, Undead Labs, Playgrounds, Compulsion Games, and Microsoft did say that they weren't done and they're expected to make more acquisitions. So who could potentially be next? I know for years we've been asking for Capcom and Sega, and hey, there's been talks of Remedy, but I want to think on a little bit of a smaller scale, only because if you look at the recent acquisitions, the only really big like surprise for the recent acquisitions has been Ninja Theory, because Ninja Theory didn't have really a strong or a super long relationship with Microsoft over the years to really warrant a purchase. When you think about studios such as Undead Labs, who've only really worked with Microsoft, when you think about Playground Games, who've only really worked with Microsoft, when you think about Compulsion, sure, they've had an early partnership with Microsoft. When you think about those studios, they haven't really worked with anybody but Microsoft, with the exception of Compulsion, who's been multi-plat for the most part. But Undead Labs only did Xbox stuff. Playground Games have only did Xbox stuff for the most part. So these studios weren't that big of a deal, if you think about it. These weren't that big of a deal. It was just nice to bolster their first party. So we can say, who would they add? And looking at their history, the next company, the next dev team Microsoft should and will probably add would be PUBG Corp. And this, over as time go on, has become obvious and obvious. I mean, this is an acquisition that makes sense for both parties. PUBG has been, when it first came to the market, let's say last March I believe 2017, that PUBG came out. It was a phenomenon. It just like shocked the world with its battle royale style. It's the gameplay was being played everywhere. The numbers was just growing upon weeks and weeks and weeks. Every week we heard about PUBG, we heard about the numbers soaring, and then Microsoft announced at E3 that, hey, they got exclusives on PUBG. That's the first console, the Xbox will be the first console that PUBG launches on. And it was just like, man, if Microsoft can wrap this up as a full exclusive and not a timed exclusive, because these guys are independent, I believe, this would be big, because this is the biggest thing on PC and it's going to be the biggest thing on consoles. You know what I mean? Wow, times have changed. Things happen. Sure, PUBG's still available, it's popular, and it's available on Xbox, but the Battle Royale has become bigger and there is a new king, and we know who that is, Fortnite. But a lot of people has been worried, should they have gone all in on PUBG? Should they even bother with you, since Fortnite's the big thing, since there's other Battle Royale games coming out? And then you have to stop and think about it. For both Microsoft and PUBG Corp alone, they have to think about, like, what is best for us, especially at this point in time, because news will make you think that PUBG is on the decline, and maybe it is, but is it really? And it's probably better at this point in time, as it stands now, for Microsoft to pull the trigger and welcome PUBG Corp and PUBG to Microsoft Studios. And I'm going to tell you why. First things first, ever since its inception, yeah, PUBG's been on a rise, but since Fortnite kicked through the door, Fortnite has a growing player base, and it has already overtaken PUBG as king, and Fortnite is everywhere PUBG is not, and of course available where PUBG is available, and it has over 125 million users. So PUBG wanted to sue Fortnite for its similarities, and that didn't go so well because they withdrew the lawsuit within, I want to say, weeks after filing it. Now, the thing about since Fortnite's rise, PUBG unfortunately has been taking a decline on PC. But at that very same time, because the only other relevant place that PUBG is available on is of course mobile and of course Xbox. The Xbox player base have been growing. They've just announced 8 million users on Xbox alone, the console. 8 million users, and that's constantly rising. PUBG has launched on Xbox Game Preview in December of 2017, and it debuted on an MPD at number 7. And ever since its launch, it has remained in the top 15 and the top 20 for the last 6 months. So it's been selling. It has been selling very well. And a matter of fact, PUBG is probably if not the best, the second best selling Xbox exclusive since Halo 5 Guardians. And now that's a big deal if you think about it. This is like the second, and people are probably gonna get upset that I use the word exclusive, but as far as console exclusive, that's the next big. When you talk about exclusive, you got Halo 5, I believe, and then it's PUBG, and I think after that it's Gears 4, and then there's either Master Chief or Forza Horizon 3 in that order. So that's actually, PUBG has been over the past half a year the flagship game for Xbox as far as player count, and it being living in the MPDs for the last 6 months. Now, Game Pass, we know about Game Pass. PUBG can help Game Pass, and Game Pass can help PUBG. Think about it. State of Decay 2 debuted at number 1 in May, despite being free on Game Pass. Game Pass helped nearly probably double or even triple State of Decay sales. Now, PUBG is the only game in Game Preview that does not have a demo. Game Pass can essentially be that game's demo for some people, while also bolstering the player base. It would also help increase its sales. Now, we can even look at Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves, despite being free in Game Pass, it still debuted at number 2 in the month that it is releasing the MPD, only losing out to Far Cry. Now we know what happened with Sea of Thieves between now and then. Word got out, didn't get the greatest reception, and then the sales dropped. It didn't really chart again after that, but from what we hear, it still has a strong player base, and they're still updating and still providing support for that game. Now, what does this have to do with PUBG? PUBG obviously is leaps and bounds ahead of both State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves. And sure, people will argue that, hey, Fortnite this, H1Z1, look at these games, right? People say don't buy, Microsoft shouldn't buy PUBG because of Fortnite's king. But no, as you can see, PUBG has been the crowning achievement for Xbox. Sure, people don't think 8 million users on Xbox is a big deal. They'll point out H1Z1 already having 10 million users after a month. But the difference between PUBG, H1Z1, and Fortnite Battle Royale, H1Z1 and Fortnite Battle Royale are free downloads. Free. PUBG retails for $29.99. So 8 million users at $29.99, and or H1Z1 10 million users, and with the possibility of half the player base buying some sort of cosmetics, if that's available now. I'm not sure, I haven't played it, but think about it. Think about it. Sure, the game's unfinished. What is Microsoft waiting for? I feel like they need to hurry up and put this thing out, fix it, and put some shine on it, and put it out. But I think they're in perfect position to purchase this and add PUBG to that all-star lineup with Halo, Gears, and Forza. The stats are all there for you. It's already their biggest game on the Xbox right now, the biggest. So why not take advantage of that? So PlayStation people, a lot of people say, well, they don't want to miss out on PlayStation. They should put the game out on PlayStation. Is there even room for PUBG to launch on PlayStation? PUBG, I feel, missed this mark because PlayStation already has the biggest battle royale game, period. That's Fortnite. And for those who are not interested in Fortnite, they're already being satisfied with H1Z1. As I said earlier, the game has 10 million users just after a month. And H1Z1 and PUBG is probably more alike than PUBG and Fortnite. They're, as far as graphical level gameplay, they're essentially the same thing. Now, you got to ask yourself, is the sales for PUBG going to PlayStation potentially hurt by both Fortnite and H1Z1? Could it find ground? Could it find players there when they're being satisfied with the same type of game mode? I don't think it's, and especially after this year, it's going to be tough with the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and the Red Dead Redemptions coming out. I don't think PUBG even makes it to PlayStation. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Microsoft already made this decision, and maybe they announced this acquisition when the game launches in Game Pass. Maybe they announced the acquisition this fall when the game probably releases its full game version for the console. Matter of fact, Microsoft might be the only key between putting PUBG being on the Nintendo Switch. Think about it. That's the only so they can unlock crossplay. PUBG is still a good buy for Microsoft, in my opinion. It's because PUBG is the crowning achievement as far as commercially for Xbox. And PUBG, if they look at their player base, they have really a crowd to feed. They already launched the full game on PC. They already hit their peak to the point they're starting to decline. Whereas Xbox, they're rising. So why not take advantage of that and start to go all in? And if PUBG's hurting, which I doubt they are, Microsoft has the backing, and I think it's the perfect partnership. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. Is PUBG Microsoft's next acquisition? Is that Microsoft's next big thing? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll talk to you guys later. As always, Xbox is the best spot, and I am the best spot. Peace.